You must understand that there are two classes of Edomites. There are the historic Edomites, and the biblical Edomites. The term Edomite is the biblical name for the Mongoloids. The biblical Edomites came by way of Esau, the son of Isaac and Rebekah, not Canaan. Esau, contrary to what most people think, does not mean red, it means hairy. Genghis Khan, originally Temujin, 1162 to 1227 AD, was a Mongol conqueror who united the Mongol tribes. In 1206 AD, he took the name Genghis Khan, meaning he was born near Lake Baikal in Russia. He is the son of Yesukai, a Mongol chief and ruler of a large region between the Amur River and the Great Wall of China. China was originally named Chung Kuo, after Chou, the ruler of the Zhou dynasty. Chung Kuo means middle country, in reference to the fact that ancient Chinese thought that China was in the center of the world. At the age of 13, Temujin succeeded his father as tribal chief. His early reign was marked by successive revolts of his subject tribes and an intense struggle to retain his leadership. But the Mongol ruler soon demonstrated his military genius and conquered not only his intractable subjects, but his hostile neighbors as well. By 1206 AD, Temujin was master of almost all of Mongolia. In that year, a convocation of the subjugated tribes proclaimed him Genghis Khan, Chinese Cheng Zi, precious warrior, Turkish Khan, lord, leader of the united Mongol and Tatar tribes. He annexed northern China, Central Asia, Iran, and southern Russia. Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, extended the empire to its greatest height, and founded the Yuan dynasty, which lasted until 1368 AD. After his death, the empire eventually fragmented. The word Edom is an Aramaic Hebrew word meaning red. It comes from the same root word as Adam, which is the Hebrew word Edom meaning brownish red. In Joshua 19:36, the name Adama, which is a city in Naphtali, Strong's Concordance 0128, gives the meaning the earth. And in Genesis 10:19, the name Adama from the same root is translated to mean red earth, where they combine the two, red and earth. This Adama is a city in Siddim, a valley in Jordan. Throughout the scriptures you will find cities that are named after people. Thus, there were other people named Adam in the Bible. Esau's name as mentioned above, means hairy. However, he was also called Edom. His name was changed to Edom meaning red, after he sold his blessing, birthright, for a bowl of red stew to his brother. Esau is thought to mean red because Esau is called the father of the Edomite. The Edomites in turn, became known as having a red complexion, which is not true because Edomites are not really a red color. They have a creamish yellowish skin color. As mentioned previously, the term Edomite is just the biblical term for Mongolians. Am I saying there is more than one Adam? Yes, that is what the scriptures say. They were plagiarized from the ancient tablets, but they want you to believe in its teachings. In Genesis 5:2, it states male and female created he them, blessed them and called their name Adam. Adam, whose real name is Zachar, was told to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, as found in Genesis 1:28. Each time the planet was refilled, that was a new Adam. Such is in the case with Adam of Genesis and Noah, Genesis 8:17, whose real name was Utnapishtim in the Gilgamesh epics, Tablet 3. He was also an Adam. In Genesis 9:1, Noah told the same thing as Adam in Genesis 1:22, to be fruitful and multiply. Adam is merely a term meaning man, or mankind from the cuneiform Adama, meaning earthling, also meaning of the ground. The Hebrew Phoenician translation of it became Edom, for ruddy or reddish brown. So when the prophet Noble Drew Ali stated that the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of ancient Canaanites, it is confirmed by the fact that several grandsons of Noah moved westward before the natural fret, which is what created the Red Sea, originally called the Reed Sea. Noah begot Shem, Ham and Japheth, triplets according to the scriptures, Genesis 5:32. It clearly states that Noah was 500 years old when he had these three sons, that's all in the same year. You're only 500 once, just like you're only 50 once. The son Ham, Genesis 10:6, gave birth to Cush, Mizraim, Phut and Canaan. Esau's seed was cursed with Mongoloidism because he mixed his seed with the Canaanites. And this was going against the commandment as found in Genesis 28:1 and 28:6, which was a commandment from the Most High. However, out of spite, Esau took Canaanite wives to get even with his father for giving his blessings to his brother Jacob instead of him, Genesis 27:28-29. He mixed his seed with these Canaanite tribes, and a curse was placed on Esau through his genes. The name Canaan means lowlander. And you should ask, how can a child's name mean lowlander? In fact, a child couldn't be named lowlander. This child would have grown into adulthood and moved into the lowlands from the highlands to receive that name, just as Abram was changed to Abraham in Genesis 17:1. His real name was Labana, meaning milky, white. He was also called Adam. Canaan's father's name was Ham, Genesis 19:18, which means burnt, blackened, or hot, scorched. Canaan's father's nationality was Aramean, the original Aramaeans or Assyrians. So Canaan was Aramean or Syrian by nationality, which today is northeast Turkey inhabited by invading Russians, called Turks, from the Altaic Mountains in the USSR, making them mountain dwellers. They were Caucasians who invaded the lands of the Aramean, Assyrians, and took over the land of these dark-skinned, woolly-haired Aramaeans and Assyrians, who are from Aram, Genesis 10:22, sons of Shem, who is a son of Noah. The original name for the land of Canaan is Cadmon. In Genesis 15:19 it reads, the Kenites, and the Kensites, and the Cadmonites. Cadmonites is also spelt Cadmoni, and means Easterners. They were the original inhabitants of the land of Canaan according to Strong 6935. So the original land of Canaan was called Cadmon, which happens to be the name of the Adam of 49,000 years ago, as opposed to Labana, the Adam of 6,000 years ago. According to Genesis 9:25, the curse was on Ham's son, Canaan. Some call Ham, Cam, and others Kemet. Yet, the seed of Abraham and Moab dwelled with the Canaanites is found in Genesis 28:1, where it is clear that the seed of Abraham and Lot lived with the Canaanites, but was forbidden to marry them. And this was repeated to Abraham's son, Isaac, Genesis 28:6. The Canaanites, according to Leviticus chapter 13 and 14, which collates with Genesis 9:25, had a curse placed on them. The curse is explained as a form of leprosy, a contagious disease. It is discoloration of the skin and hair texture. Leviticus 14:33 tells you that the land that the Israelites were going to take over was Canaanite land. The description of these Canaanites in Genesis 13:30, in part, is that they had yellow, blonde, thin, straight hair, and their skin is described in Leviticus 13:24. It is clear by Leviticus 13:11 that this is old leprosy, not something new. Also Quran 20-102 uses the word for curse or guilty in Arabic, al-mujrimiyana, which describes as being blue, using the word zircon. However, one of the sons was fortunate of the seed of Canaan, to not be born colorless or melanin recessive. He was Hamath, the 11th son of Canaan, Genesis 10:18, and the name Hamath means blackened, or black, from the same root as Ham. This is the very name that the prophet Noble Drew Ali made reference to in the Holy Quran Circle 7, where he states, "These are the Moabites, Hamathites, Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan." So he identifies his tribe of Canaanites and Moabites together, but along with the 11th son Hamath, for he must have known being an Advent studier of the scriptures that the other seeds of Canaan were Caucasian, and that the Hittites mixed in with the Hamathites. They later invaded Egypt during the reign of Ramesses II, to be defeated and placed in servitude. Their women were cohabited with, and produced mixed seeds in Egypt. Most of the pictures you see today are the last ruling dynasties. Thus you will see light-skinned and wavy to curly hair, as a result of this mixing with foreigners. It is a fact that the whole of what's called Africa today, and that is inclusive of Mauritania and Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia and Egypt, were all Moors. Esau and his family eventually went to stay in Mount Seir, Genesis 36:8. When they went to Mount Seir, there were already beings living in Mount Seir. These beings were the Shaggies who were tall and who came from the Sirius star constellation. The others were the Duwanis, who are short and hairy and came from Canis Major, both were called Hurite. They eventually bred and mixed with the Taros, who were also tall. They came to the surface and created a branch of the Mongoloid race. This is why there are some tall Orientals and some short Orientals. The mixture of the Taros and the Shaggies caused a defect of 40 and 7 chromosomes, producing what is commonly called Down syndrome. The Taros chromosome structure is so different than that of Earthlings, that the mixture caused this disorder. The Eskimos are an off-breed from this mixture of Taro and the Shaggies also. These Taros also mixed in with the Duwanis, and this caused the disease called hirsutism, where the body is fully covered with hair. This is very common among the Mongoloids today. In the teachings of the Hopi Native Americans, they acknowledge the existence of the Shaggies, or Bigfoot, whom they call Masaw. They believe that Masaw is the greatest spirit person who walks the surface of this earth. They state that he is the first, the last, the eternal. They believe that Bigfoot was here first, then human beings were planted here. The Vietnamese also hold these same beliefs. They call the Shaggies Lay, which refers to the monkey man. Only they say he is not a monkey and he is not a man, he is a god. They also say that he is the most powerful human-type manifestation on the surface of the earth, calling him the monkey god in India, the father. Cush moved to Aksum, which became known as Ethiopia by the Greeks, Ezekiel 35, Mizraim moved to Tamara, which became known as Egypt by the Greeks, Ezekiel 17:15. Phut moved into Libus, and it became known as Libya by the Greeks, Ezekiel 35, and Canaan moved into Philistim and it became Palestine by the Greeks. So it is safe to assert that the statement made by Prophet Noble Drew Ali in chapter 47 of the Holy Quran, circle 7, page 136, under the title Egypt, the capital, empire and domain of Africa, is for the most part true, being Canaan was the son of Ham, and Ham fathered Cush, Mizraim, and Phut, from the northeastern part of Nubian, now called Africa. However, when they arrived there, it has been proven by archaeological findings that predates the birth of Cush, such as the Ugandan findings, Mortopathecus bishopi, and the Kenya findings, Kenyapathecus, that people already inhabited that land. At the beginning of verse 2, Prophet Noble Drew Ali states, Old Man Cush. This takes us to Genesis 2:10-13, where it speaks of the rivers flowing out of Eden and down encompassing the whole land of Ethiopia. There you'll find the word Cush. This was before Genesis 10:6, where Ham gives birth to a Cush, so there must have been more than one Cush. In the Sumerian teachings, we find in the Tablet of Etana, Tablet 1, Kish being used as a form of Cush, for one of the 7 lands set up by Enki. 1. Sippar, 2. Kish, 3. Kutha, 4. Shuruppak, 5. Uruk, 6. Ishin, 7. Eridu, and the 7 lands set up by his brother Enlil. 1. Tilmun, 2. Salam, 3. Mu, 4. Lumeria, 5. Kodesh, 6. Nippur, and 7. Ashkelon, Al-Kabulin. These were 2 sons of Anu, the most high deity of the Sumerians, who came to this planet from Nibiru. And according to those ancient tablets in cuneiform, of these ancient ones, they are your Elohim of the Torah, Genesis chapter 1, Nephilians of Genesis 6:4, your Malaikaat of Quran 15:28, your Angelos of your New Testament Matthews 1:20, and the Neteru of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, chapter 1, verse 1. So it is clear that Old Man Cush could be referring to the ancient land of Kish, Cush. For you see in verse 3, the prophet Noble Drew Ali states his father Ham and his family was second. That means they were not the first Cushites. Ham's Cushites of Genesis 10:6 would be the second Cushites. Ethiopia is one of the dividing lines for the sons of Ham, for the introduction of the word Africa, which is an Arabic word Afriqiya from the root faraga, to divide. The Ottoman Arabs set out to divide Africa into separate lands, and one of the names given in this pursuit is Ethiopia. Amexem is from Hexian, a Chinese word, a name the Orientals who sailed across the Pacific Oceans to these shores, called whole land, which to them included Africa. These Oriental Asiatics who migrated from the Shang dynasty under Shu Shen, Ho Shen, called it Hexian, which became in time Amexem, combining America and Hexian to give Amexem, where the word Mexico is derived from. The son and father divided. Canaan stayed in the Palestine valleys while his nephews moved westward to northeast Africa. The Edomites are thought to have come from the Caucasians because they resided and mixed in with these Horites that were already living in Mount Seir. These Syrians were of the regressive gene. It is also no coincidence that the Hebrew word for Seir is Seir and means hairy, rough, and the Shaggies were hairy beings. So put it in your mind that Esau is only the biblical Mongoloid or Edomite race. There were Mongoloids living before Esau, and these Mongoloids were a mixture of the Taros and the Shaggies. Mount Seir was not named after Esau, even though Esau means hairy. Seir is the name given to the range of mountains that covers much of the land of Edom. The name Seir is applied specifically to the highest mountain peak of the Seir range. It was named Seir because of the hairy goats, and also the hairy Horites who inhabited that mountain. Mount Hor is also one of its names, which is what the Horites were named after. The name Seir was also the name of the chief of the Horites, whom Esau and his sons mixed in with. The land of Edom is in Mount Seir, but covers territories on both sides of the mountain. At times, their territory seems to have included the whole region from the Dead Sea, to the Red Sea and Sinai. The name Moab is the key. It means of my father. Moab was the son of Lot, Genesis 19:37, who is the son of Haran, Genesis 11:27, who is the son of Terah, Genesis 11:26, and these are the sons of Terah, Genesis 11:27, the Chaldean, father of Abram, Genesis 11:28. They were Assyrians or Aramaeans by birth, Genesis 25:20. Moab was born in an ancestral act, which is an ancient Sumerian Egyptian practice that was not scorned on before the Torah, Law of Israel, Leviticus chapter 18, forbidden sexual practices. This was a new law after Lot's time. It was created for genetically recessive people, who had a fear of defective genes by sexual contact with relatives too close. It is still practiced throughout the Arab world and Africa today. So Lot, being the son of Haran, the Syrian makes the Moabites Assyrians, from Ashur, the second son of Shem, Genesis 10:22, making the Moabites, Shemites, and not under the curse of Canaan, Genesis 9:25. This curse was not cast on Ham, as taught by the Talmud Mishnah, and the Mormon sect of Christians, but rather on Canaan, whose 11 sons were cursed. And the Islamic world, according to the Dictionary of Islam, by Thomas Patrick Hughes, are totally confused, claiming that this Canaan was the unbelieving son of Noah, and actually have recorded in their Quran 11:41-43, as the son of Noah who drowned in the flood, by his wife Wala. This is a total fabrication of misinformation, because according to the Torah, Genesis 9:18, Canaan was the son of Ham. Thus, the so-called Holy Quran of the Orthodox Muslim world has a historical and genealogy mistake. None of Noah's sons, according to the Torah, drowned in the flood, as mentioned in the Quran, a book they claim they believe in, Quran 2-136. Esau's first wife was Judith. She gave birth to a son named El-Kuwa, her third child. She died during this labor. Esau's first two children were twins, who died on the same day as their mother by falling rocks. The descendants of El-Kuwa were the Aborigines, from his wife Rashahim. Esau's Hittite wife was Basemath, also called Basmath. She gave birth to Shurin, Mut and Kukuman and two daughters, who were twins named Tibiah and Sienna. Later, trying to right his wrong, Esau married an Ishmaelite named Mahalath. She was also called Basemath, the daughter of Ishmael and Sayyidah Fatima. Mahalath gave birth to two sons and one daughter. The first son being Ruel. He came out the womb brownish red with woolly hair, thus he was also called Edom. The other was Yaban, he was also brownish red with woolly hair, and the daughter was Malaya, she had a dark brown complexion and woolly hair. Ruel also took a Canaanite wife named Hulan, an Arkich, and she had two daughters. The first was Tathiah and the second was named Seta. Yaban took a Canaanite while also, named Araga. Araka gave birth to three sons named Lamed, Hafiz and Nam, and a daughter named Tabath. Maliyah took a Canaanite husband named Abeo and had one son, Kundu, and one daughter Sinth. After his father, Jacob's death, Esau took another Canaanite wife. She was a Hittite named Adah, Genesis 36:2. Adah bore Esau one son who was named Eliphaz, Genesis 36:10-13. Eliphaz had a son named Amalek and a daughter named Keneth, the mother of the Kenites. The Amalekites and the Kenites were two close-knit tribes, Numbers 24:20-24. Their offsprings looked like Native Americans. Esau's fifth wife was named Aholibama. She was a Hivite, Genesis 36:2. She had three sons. The first was named Jeish, the second was named Jalam and the third was named Korah, Genesis 36:5. He was the father of the Korean race.